For more on this story, we can bring in France 24's James Andre, who was recently on the ground in Lebanon. James, good to see you. Last week, Israel called on ordinary Lebanese to disentangle themselves from Hezbollah. But this is something that's easier said than done, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Simply because, of course, Hezbollah does not plaster on the front of the buildings it hides its missiles under their logo or anything. So obviously, yes, it's very difficult for people to keep their distance with Hezbollah positions or Hezbollah people, simply because a lot of them also have this operation as something which is covert. I mean, it is documented that some of the top leaders, for example, of Hezbollah would have these activities without even telling their own family that they were members of the organization or part of its military wing. So obviously it's complicated, if you like, to say, right, I'm going to steer clear of Hezbollah positions. And actually, we have been seeing Israeli strikes well outside Hezbollah strongholds in northern Lebanon, in other areas of Lebanon, where it is not expected that you would have any, Hezbollah positions or weapons hidden.
Has Israel's offensive in the country over the past 3 weeks or so, we've seen so many things happen, the pagers, the walkie-talkies, Hassan Nasrallah's assassination. Has all of this, and then the subsequent strikes, let's not forget, has all of this brought the Lebanese population together, or is it starting to divide the country?
Well, I'd say you have a bit of both. When I was there, that was just after the pager attack. When I arrived in the country, there was very much a movement of solidarity. People, I was asking them, and they would say, yes, this is Hezbollah. For example, if I was asking someone from the Christian community or the Sunni community, they'd tell me, look, we don't support Hezbollah, but these are Lebanese people and we need to help them. So there was very much that sense, and this sense that Lebanon as a country was being attacked. So when the pager attack arrived, we arrived in the hospitals, the very next day. And what we saw was doctors saying, we are here together. Christians has opened their hospitals to treat those who had been wounded by the pagers, the Sunni Muslims as well. Then subsequently, what did happen was people were afraid, just legitimately afraid. I spoke to people who said I would not take a lift in a building with someone I suspected might be linked to Hezbollah because I'd be afraid that something blow up in their pocket. Now, what we're seeing now, I'd say, is the next step. If you take what happened in Aitu, Aitu is a village in northern Lebanon. There was a massive airstrike. These are the pictures. That was just 2 days ago. Aitu is a Christian community. It is basically a Maronite Christian stronghold. And indeed, they were hosting in a house a family of Shiites from the south. So people who could be linked or not actually to Hezbollah, but in any case from the south. And this strike happened at a moment where someone, apparently from Hezbollah, came with some money for this family, and basically the house was struck, 24 people were killed. Now, what the Christians now are saying is, well, we're afraid to house these people in our community simply because they're worried that Israel might want to target someone who is being helped in these houses. And actually, some people, including officials there, are saying that this could be a deliberate policy. Well, this is what they believe. They say, Israel can hit, for example, this person, if they want to take out this Hezbollah person who was bringing money to the family, they could have done it on the road, they could have done it at some other time. They struck 20 minutes after the car arrived at the house. So, they say that, this was a pretty big bomb and that this could be, in a sense, to sow dissent inside the country, which is very fractured. You've got to remember that you have 17 different confessions in Lebanon, which registered. They each had their political party. And as you know, it's very sectarian, and there was a bloody civil war for years between all these groups. I would add one other thing, is that, for example, the Sunni Muslims have been helping their Shia brothers as well. But on the other hand, for example, they never wanted to open the mosque, the Hariri mosque in this central Beirut, simply because in a sense they say, right, Hezbollah, this message is coming, which is Hezbollah started this. They should take care of their own people, which of course they are doing to an extent, but given, the situation in the country, it's complicated. So what we are seeing, if you will, is that there is on one hand solidarity, but on the other, there is now, this worry, this fear that is between the communities, which means it's getting difficult for people from the south to find shelter in the north.